Hi, I'm Nesh, Nikolic, clinical psychologist at Strategic Psychology. If you're having relationship difficulties and looking for some different ways about how you can improve communication, this video is for you. I'm really excited to talk about the Gottman method and the Four Horsemen. They're really about sort of tripping points that people fall into in communication, because I think it's really one of those things that are at the heart of improving how people in relationships go out and communicate effectively and how we might be able to do it better. So let me just go out and put that on the board for you. And it's really fascinating for me because none of this is my information. It's really stripped from what I believe is the best method out there in how do we go out and improve relationships. So let's get started. So the four tripping points look like this. The first one is criticism. It's so common that in our very general day-to-day language with one another and the way that we communicate, we tend to criticize our partners quite a lot. And it could be something as simple as, oh gosh, you haven't gone out and emptied the dishwasher again. We're criticizing our partner, and each time we go out and do that, it erodes the relationship and people start feeling worse and worse. So criticism is the first point. What criticism more often than not does is it somewhat evokes or invites defensiveness to come up. And that's fascinating because there's almost like this tennis match going on where one partner hits the ball over the net, the other partner hits the ball back over, and they defend themselves to the criticism, and it cycles around. And so the person who's criticizing feels like one of their needs is not being met, and the other person feels like they're being attacked and they defend themselves, and then the person who's criticizing feels like they're not heard. And so it rapidly cycles backwards and forwards, and it causes obviously a lot of grief. So we've got criticism, defensiveness, and then we've got stonewalling. So stonewalling is when people get, I suppose in some sense, overwhelmed with emotion, and they tend to just shut off. It's almost like talking to a stone wall. And so we might see things like people staring into the distance or kind of going, yeah, okay. And they're not actually listening to their partner anymore. They might eye roll, that they're kind of overwhelmed with those emotions, and the listening has completely stopped at that point. And then lastly, contempt. And these are comments that are made to deliberately insult or put down the other partner. It could be name calling, you're stupid, you're dumb, or whatever it might be, and it really degrades the relationship quite quickly. And so we see these are the tripping points that often come up in relationships, conversations that are really going in that downward sort of nature. Now, the Gottman method provides antidotes to these four tripping points, and that's what's really exciting, is that most of us will find at least some, if not all of these in our relationships, particularly when they're going sour, and we can identify them. And so when we can identify them, we can also go out and apply an antidote. And so here are the Gottman method's antidotes to each of these. Criticism. Instead of criticism, maybe what we can do is offer a gentle, soft start. So what that might look like is, instead of the criticism about the dishwasher, it might be something like, hey, I know that your day is really busy. Would you be able to help me with packing the dishwasher? So it's a softer version of the first, and it helps to just facilitate further conversation. Now, after that's said, another person might go out and offer some more information about how often they feel that they might be going out and doing domestic duties, and that they would like more participation from their partner, etc. So we can see a gentle, soft start goes out and starts to facilitate and assist with that communication. Instead of defensiveness, the Gottmans go out and discuss this idea around taking responsibility. And that's really, really powerful because, just one moment, it's really important because when someone does take responsibility of their own actions, their own behaviours, the person who has raised a need that they want met feels heard, they feel understood. And from that position, they often feel some resolution or some resolving of emotion has occurred. And so it's very, very, very powerful and very helpful. And I like to try and specifically do this myself. I think it helps to better my character. It's not an easy one to do because often, it's something that when you're feeling criticised, it's hard to go and say, yes, you're right. There are aspects of my behaviour that I don't need to go out and take responsibility for. Now, instead of stonewalling, that's a kind of emotional flooding, if you will. What we're looking for here is for either party to take a moment, particularly one that's being flooded, to take a moment to, in some sense, self-soothe, meaning kind of down-regulate, feel more stable again, so they can come back to the conversation. So, self-soothing. And examples of that might be to go out and take a break from, let's say if there's an argument occurring, might take a toilet break, might go get a cup of tea. We might go out and say, look, I'm feeling really overwhelmed at the moment. Do you mind if we just stop for 20 minutes before we come back to this and continue this conversation? It allows us to take a breather. And there's some really fascinating data around this in that when couples go out and argue, their heart rates tend to go up. And so there's adrenaline, there's a fight or flight response turns on. And I think, and please don't quote me on this, but I think it's something like 80 beats per minute or 90 beats per minute. When your heart rate is at that level, it's very, very hard to go out and communicate effectively, both from communication, me expressing myself, but also myself hearing what my partner has to say. So to be able to down-regulate helps immensely. And then lastly, instead of contempt, we offer building a culture of appreciation. Now that's really talking about being able to stop, pause, take a moment and consider the beautiful attributes and actions that your partner goes out and provides to the relationship. We so often can forget those, and rather than forgetting them, maybe we can remember them and also share them with our partner. So telling them things about them that we appreciate, that we love. These are the reasons why we actually fell in love with our partner in the first place. So these are those 4 tripping points, and I think they're absolutely amazing. And working with this model can really go out and revolutionise how people communicate with one another, so that we can get to that deeper level of conversation that often couples don't go out and do. Now you can go out and do this on your own. You can get a skilled therapist to go out and assist you, or you can go out and read a book from the Gottmans as well. It's fantastic stuff, and I can't really go out and plug it anymore because I just think it's wonderful, and I personally use this in my own relationship. So I'm just recommending it for others out there as well. So all the best in your relationships, and I hope that this was useful for you.